What's good, watch the Commanders fans? Whoo! As I sit here starting this video for y'all tonight, the Watch the Commanders is on the roll. Dan Quinn is on the roll. He is assembling a offensive and defensive staff that we have not had in 30 plus years. And it's good to see this. It's good to see this. And as I was on my live talking to my peoples, this is good. This is really good. Um, Now the latest is that the Washington Commanders have brought in former offensive coordinator Brian Johnson from the Eagles to be. Jeremy Fowler said that most likely he will be the passing game coordinator. And plus, with him and Kingsbury over there, they are great minds that develop great quarterbacks. If you've seen how Jalen Hurts had been, you've seen Caleb Williams, you've seen Kyler Murray, you've seen all these other guys that they have had their hands on touching. Um, and the thing about it is, is that this hire is significant. And I think this is what I think in my head is that the Washington Commanders, since the hiring of Dan Quinn, you have to sit back and analyze and say that, you know what, this hire probably is what we needed, the direction we needed. Josh Harris and Adam Peters made the right choice. Um, and that maybe Mike McDonald, maybe Ben Johnson couldn't put a staff together like this. I mean, if you look at it, Seattle has not named an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. And you already know Brian Johnson, weak ass, is back in Detroit. So, me personally, I like it. I love how the Commanders and Dan Quinn is putting things together. They making sure that they are able to do the things that they need to do. They want this, like he said, this is not a rebuild. This is kind of like, yes, some people could say it's a rebuild, but I think to me, it's more of a replenish. Saying the guys that they bringing in is nowhere near the guys are. I mean, because you got guys that got experience. You mixing young and old together. These guys have been around the game, and it's going to be very, 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 very detrimental for the future of the Washington Commanders going forward. Whether they get a quarterback, whether they keep Sam Howell, whether they trade for a quarterback, whether whatever the thing about it is. Now, somebody said, um, that the Washington Commanders should do what the Detroit Lions did, get a veteran quarterback and build around him. Okay, the only logical veteran quarterback is out there is probably Kirk Cousins. That's a free agent, and he's gonna want to get paid, and we're not paying him no fucking bunch of money just to literally, and he hasn't did anything. Russell Wilson, he's a proven Super Bowl champion. If he wants to, he is from the DC era. I mean, Russell Wilson would. I mean, we'll have a roster for him. We could easily build around him, but Russell Wilson want to throw the ball all the time. I mean, Kingsbury could work with him. I mean, that would be, to me, that would be good. But Russell's up there in age, so um, I think that the way they doing, I think most likely they're gonna get a quarterback. They're gonna draft a quarterback. I don't see them trading for one, and I think they're gonna really groom this guy. And like I said, I really think they're going to groom Sam Howell to trade him. He's going to be a trade piece. He's not going to really be a piece that's going to stay on the roster because right now, Jacoby Brissett, they could easily bring him. They could easily bring him back in on a 1 year deal if nobody picks him up. You know what I'm saying? Now, Brian Johnson, he's one of the most NFL rising stars in the coaching business today. Now, look what he has dealt with Jalen Hurts. Some think that the success of the Eagles this year was due to fault of Brian Johnson. I don't think so. I think they just didn't have enough. Now I forgot the offensive coordinator from last year. He went to the Colts, to be a head coach for the Colts. But who knows? Who knows? But like I said, Jeremy Fowler from ESPN, said that Johnson is hired as a prominent offensive staff role. Johnson was relieved of his offensive duties to the Eagles in January. Fowler also said that Johnson will likely be the passing game coordinator, which that's going to be good because then you're going to have both two offensive mind guys working with and they also keeping I seen it today. He was a quarterbacks. I think he was the quarterbacks coach. So, dang it, I seen it. I had it down here. Dang it. But anyway, the quarterback coach is staying in place. So that's all you need to know right now. But Brian Johnson, like he said that he's going to be the passing game coordinator. And Dan Quinn, like I said, Dan Quinn is nailing these hires. He's not missing on these hires at all. It's like each one is a big fit. Johnson is good with quarterbacks. Same thing with Kingsbury. He's good with quarterbacks. And Philly finished in the top 8 in total offense and points last year. So, but you don't have that stagnant of a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. You're going to have a more fluent quarterback. Either you draft Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels. You're going to have your choice of 3 quarterbacks that could run that air raid offense to his full potential. I said this before. I don't want to get so hype over it, but you're going to see the Washington Commanders in a whole different light next year. You're going to see them put up points that you was like, dang, this offense can't be stopped because it's going to be tailored with the defense. Like Dan Quinn say, you got to build your team from the inside out. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to build this team from the inside out. They already got the wide receivers in place. You just need a couple more pieces. You need to get the offensive line. You get all of that in place, this offense is going to take off in year 1 of Dan Quinn. Trust and believe. By year 2, this team will probably be playing for the AFC Championship game or surprisingly end up in the Super Bowl. That's just where I see it. I think they're going to go. I think they had the potential to go further than the Bucs did. The doggone Detroit Lions had. But Johnson he was a quarterback at the University of Utah. He had interviewed for multiple head coaching jobs over the winter, leaving the Eagles, including a position for the Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay, and Tennessee. So that's a good fit. Now, Johnson's direction, the Eagles offense finished 7th in the NFL in scoring this year, but the team was 1-6 mark to end the season on a damper of that success and got blown out by Tampa Bay 32-9 in the wild card round. There were also reports of tension and disconnect between Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni. Washington, Johnson joins the staff of Quinn, who was recently named the head coach. And we already know the Commanders' record. 4-13 overall. Under head coach Ron Rivera, after finish 8-8, 7-10, 7-9, and whatever the case will be. Um, the Washington has only made the playoffs 6 times since 1993 and hasn't advanced to the divisional round or the postseason since 2005. Um, so we already know that, and also um, we all know that the Commanders haven't also they hadn't been in the Super Bowl since '92. So we already know all of that. But with this hire with Brian Johnson, I think you're going to see like I said, you're going to see a direction of the Washington Commanders that you never seen before, with offensive genius of Kingsbury. Which, despite what some may feel about Kingsbury, he still is an offensive genius. You bring Brian Johnson in, they both collab. They groom the quarterback, make the quarterback see different things. Brian Johnson could take things that they did in Philly, help apply it there. They could, and you think about it, Kingsbury and Brian Johnson is going to be a collaborative force. That's why I think this offense has a potential of setting records, especially whoever to be the quarterback is. I mean, you might have your rookie quarterback probably throwing for 30 touchdowns or passing for over 3,000 yards in his first season and winning Rookie of the Year. Look at C.J. Stroud over there right now with the Houston Texans. Same situation. You just put weapons around them, get a good defense, and you build on that. And then you shock. So you shock them. That's what you do. You shock them. You shock them. Now, on that note, the Washington Commanders show up the defensive side of the ball, which is Dan Quinn's specialty. And you already know that they already got Joe Witt over there as the defensive coordinator. Now they stole the Raiders coach, Jason Simmons, and bringing him in as the same position he was over there is the defensive pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach. So now, but see, the Washington Commanders was looking to get a defensive backs coach over there. So if they could get a defensive backs coach, that helps the defensive coordinator out. Now, the Raiders did hire Simmons in 2002 in the offseason. He spent 2 years on the as a secondary coach and defensive pass game coordinator in Carolina. Also, he held multiple roles throughout the 9 seasons with Green Bay, which that goes back to what I think Dan Quinn days over there, whatever the case. And then he was a defense assistant and secondary coach in 2011 through 2015, 2016, assistant special teams coach 2016 to 2017 and 18, a secondary coach in 2018 to 19, and defensive backs coach in 2019 to 2020. And then during the 2018 season, he coached the Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham during Graham's long season as linebacker coach and run game coordinator for Green Bay. Simmons also played 10 years in the NFL before becoming a coach, taking off with his coaching career. Selected by Pittsburgh in the 5th round in 1988. Simmons went on to spent 4 seasons with Pittsburgh as a defensive back. He played 6 seasons for the Houston Texans, and in total, he had 121 games throughout his NFL career. So that makes him a very, very well-rounded individual, and also someone that you could really, has a lot of coaching experience in the game. So, but like I said, you got to think Simmons also helped develop Jaire Alexander, Dante Jackson, Jack Jones over the years. Raiders ranked 9th in scoring defense last year. Look at it. Same thing with Dallas. They was top 3 in defense with Dan Quinn. Then you look at the offensive side of the ball. Look what the Eagles was. They was in the top 10 in offense. Then you can look. The Raiders was top 10 in defense last year. So you bring in all that together and say that the Washington Commanders nailed the draft. This team could easily be in the top 10 quick or the top 5 instantly. So, but this is where, like I said, this is where it gets very, very important. It gets very, very important because the fact of the matter is that Dan Quinn knows what he's want. He knows what he's looking for. He getting the right people to be on there. And the thing about it is, I hate to bring this up, but look at this. Look at his staff. His staff is mixed. You got minorities and you got some white folks on the staff. It's not just all white folks on the staff. But guess what? All of these guys in the next couple of years, they're going to be available for jobs again, maybe head coaching jobs. If you look at around the league right now, how it's constructed, they only need a few older guys. And that's Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, Dan Quinn, probably Brian Dable, McDermott. Andy Reid is probably the oldest. So if you look at it, so yeah, it's going to be so it's going to be kind of interesting. It's going to be kind of interesting just to see that on the front. You know what I'm saying? So that's the major thing about it. That's the major thing about it. I definitely want to. I definitely I want to bring some awareness and light to understand that we're gonna have something special with this team. We're going to be able to understand what it's going to take for this team to succeed on both sides of the ball, not just one side of the ball. Like Ron Rivera spent so many years on defense and then finally start working on the offense. And then now, after a while, the offense got hurt. Because you got to still think, they still got young talent with Forbes and Quan Martin. They still got guys on the defensive side like Fuller, St. Jude. Then you're going to have Derek Forrest back. You got Cam Curl back. You still could draft some more pieces. You can still tackle free agency. Add another couple of pieces. There's not use up your money and everything like that. That's pretty much how you build a team. And like I said, Dan Quinn done been around, and his defense has been good no matter where he was. So why not think that Washington is going to be exceptional? Some people think that we're not going to turn it around, but you got to look at the NFC. The NFC is not strong. You got what? Look at Green Bay, what they did. They did the same thing that the Houston Texans did. Everybody thought Jordan Love was not going to be good. But look what he did. Look what Baker Mayfield did with Tampa. Detroit, they built on from what they did, the success they had last year. But we all know that football seasons change. Look at Dallas. Look at Philly. They about to take a step back. Some of these teams going to take a step back. And guess what? It's going to be in a prime position for a team like Washington. Then you don't even know what that Super Bowl going to be like. If the 49ers win, they could still build on that and everything like that. So with that being said, the Washington Commanders are building a great staff right now. And I'm sure there's going to be more pieces added in the next couple of days over the weekend to fill out the rest of the roster with DB coaches, probably what's going to be on the offense and stuff like that. Who knows? I haven't heard anything about King. If they're going to keep her on as the running backs coach. So we have to see what's going to happen with that. But you got to be excited for what the team looks like. You got to be excited for what the team is being built. Like I said, this is the best coaching staff in a long, long time. So with that said, this is your boy, Livewire Sports Entertainment. Until then, I'll holler at you.